Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited about this community conversation. I hope we have all got our coffees and teas in the background. So welcome. So before we start talking about the youth support and some other bits and bobs as well, please can you tell us a bit about yourself and your route into the various organisations? If we start with Kaylee.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Kaylee. I have worked at Solent Youth Action for 13 years this year. I know I don't look like I could have possibly worked there for quite as long. I started off as a volunteer and became the Youth Diversity Officer, and I've just sort of moved my way up to become the Chief Executive. And I've stayed there so long because it's a really good organisation. I really enjoy working with young people, and I still have quite a lot of interaction with our young people as well. I'm very hands-on, and they help to keep me young.
Thank you. And Craig?
I've had a very interesting journey to get to this position here as the project manager for Energy Youth Centre, as part of Groundwork South, by the way. I spent many years, 5 or 6 years, doing various things like detached youth work around Winchester. I was a development tutor for the Fairbridge programme, which is now part of the Prince's Trust. So that gave me a lot of hands-on frontline experience of working with young people and communities. I then went on to co-create a theatre company called Bareface Theatre, which predominantly worked with learning disabilities and inner city youth in the criminal justice system. So I had a lot of experience of working with many varied community groups in that. And then I saw the position at the Groundwork Energy Youth Centre come up, and it was absolutely perfect. Been here for 3 years. And just making the youth centre fly and doing as best we can.
Absolutely. So can you please tell us a bit about a little bit more about the organisations that you work for, just like a general overview and services offered? We'll start with Kaylee again.
Thanks, Naomi. So Solent Youth Action is a youth provision charity working with vulnerable and disadvantaged young people aged 10 to 25. The majority of young people we work with are on the autistic spectrum, so we work with mild to moderate needs. So a lot of those young people go to mainstream schools, but they've been statemented with autism or Asperger's. We also work with young carers with challenging behaviours, young people who are at risk of exclusion from school, from peer groups, young offenders, and those who have mental health issues. So we kind of work with young people who are sort of on the cusp of needing further support, and we kind of get involved with them before social services need to be involved, or CAMS, which is the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, and we engage them in positive social activities. So that's like supported youth clubs, holiday schemes, volunteer projects. We also do a one-to-one community buddy scheme as well for those young people who need that more targeted support. And then we also go into some particular schools and teach various workshops on youth trending issues. So relationship and sex education, online exploitation, knife crime, all that sort of stuff really. So and we cover the Eastleigh Borough, but we do work with young people sort of within the whole of Hampshire.
Okay, that's great, thank you. And Craig?
So we are a good old-fashioned youth centre, to be honest. We've got to have an open door policy where any young person can come in and use our services for completely free. We have this lovely, wonderful building that I'm in the office of at the moment. We have a big open space with pool tables, games consoles, hi-fis and things like that. We also have a chill-out area with another games console and a pool table in. So we are open door to anyone between the age of 11 and 18. All we ask is that you sign a consent form, and then you are free to use our services. But as we are part of Groundwork South, we also like our projects as well. So we've got many projects that young people can get involved with, including music projects, art projects, along with many other things. Our youth workers are also kind of trained in the sexual health support and any kind of support involving CV writing, employment, mental health, well-being. Anything that you have issues with, come and ask our staff. And the doors are open to anyone.
That's great. I know the doors are always open to everyone, Craig, but what are the actual dates? Well, not dates particularly, but times and days of the week that the youth centre is open for the youth?
Sure. So if you are between the age of 11 and 15, we are open Saturdays between 3:30. Let me get this right. No, sorry, it's 3 p.m. and 5:30 on Saturday afternoons if you're between the age of 11 and 15. If you are 16 to 18, we are open Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturday evenings between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Okay. And I believe you also got sessions on a Monday and a Thursday, is that right?
Yep, Mondays and Thursday evenings. We are open to young people between the age of 16 and 18. Also, we do have a few little satellite sessions going on. So we're also open in the Velmore Community Cafe every Tuesday evenings, and that's from the ages of 11 to 15-year-olds.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for confirming. I know everyone's really excited about the youth centre reopening, and I believe that you had not so long ago a new pool table delivered. So that looks really, really good, and it's quite big as well, Craig, isn't it? It looks so much fun. I really want to have a go on that. So
it sure is. Well, luckily we are our main kind of funders as Eastleigh Borough Council, and they've been wonderful at supporting us and the young people. So they do supply anything that the young people kind of ask for. Basically, any suggestions from the young people, we're always up for being young person led. So if there's anything the young people want to see more of or have projects in, then our ears are open for any new projects or things.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Craig. And Kaylee, back to you. I know you gave a general overview of the many services that Solent Youth Action provide, and they sound really, really exciting. I know that we've talked about it on the radio along with Craig, but can you tell us a bit more about each service, a little bit more in depth, if that's okay?
Yeah, of course. So our supported youth clubs, we have face-to-face ones that have run throughout the entire pandemic, as well as online sessions. So the face-to-face sessions run every week on a Tuesday evening between 6:30 and 8:30 from Chalmers Ford. We use the Hilt. That's our building. It's like a purpose-built space for young people. And our online session on a Wednesday runs from 6:30 till 7:30. There is a small fee for both of those. We charge £2 for an online session and £5 for a face-to-face session. Our holiday schemes run throughout the whole school holidays. So we normally have young people for a whole afternoon, and permitting, we take them out for a full day. So in the summer, we're going to Thorpe Park and Brighton, and a couple of other places that I've forgotten. As far as our supported volunteer projects are concerned, we have a new site called The Roots that has just opened up just off of Fir Tree Lane in Bishopstoke, or sort of Fair Oak Way. And that is a skills centre that is being built by young people. So we've got like a classroom and a kitchen and a toilet there, and then everything else is being designed and built by young people. And we're there for quite a few years, and they're going to help. They were sort of refelting the roof and moving sheds and burning lots of stuff. It's lots of like kind of really kind of hands-on stuff, and we're up there Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. So yeah, like young people can get involved if they're struggling to sort of stay in school and they want to get a qualification in construction, for example. Like, it's a really good place for that. We've got support staff who are there to sort of support with pastoral issues. So kind of the young people, they kind of, maybe they haven't got a bank account and they need something like that set up for them. We're just sort of always about, but that centre's, it's brand new. We only opened up just after Easter because we only got electricity to the site at the beginning of April. So but it's a partnership that we have with Eastleigh Borough Council and Edmund Learning and Development, and it's like a really exciting thing, and we've had loads of young people already helping to build it, so hooray.
That sounds so exciting. And how do referrals work into Solent Youth Action? Can young people self-refer, or the parents or guardians, or do you have to have a third-party referral? No,
you literally just sort of give us a call or an email. Anyone can come in. We don't have a waiting list for our services, so we have an application form that needs to be completed, just because we need to make sure we have excuse me, the safeguarding information. But then, yeah, young people can just sort of come to us as long as they're aged between 10 and 25. they can come along.
Excellent. That sounds great. And we'll give the contact details at the end, well, towards the end of the community conversation. And Craig, I know that you have an open door policy for the youth, provisions, as in, the youth club and, access to that. But say if someone needs a bit more support, for example, you said, sexual health advice, those sorts of things. Is that still an open door policy, or do you need to have a referral into Energy Youth via Groundworks?
Sorry, I'm getting people call me. It's a very busy centre here at the moment. I'll just put that on there. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Don't worry.
It is an open door policy.
That's great. And also, I've recently seen the video that your team did about the youth centre reopening. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. Well, in the past, what we've done is we've actually gone into schools face to face and been in assemblies and kind of said about our services there. But as we all are probably aware, that's not possible at the moment due to the pandemic and things like that. So we just, as always, we're always trying to think outside the box of how we can reach young people and how we can reach the schools and different individuals to just spread the word about our centre and what we do. So we thought the video would be perfect for that. It just kind of gets it out there. It gives young people the chance to have a tour of the centre without actually having to do the scary thing of walking in and having a look around. So yeah, hopefully it's there just to show people that it's not a big and scary and intimidating place. It's very welcoming. All our staff are lovely, so hopefully that come across in the video.
Definitely. And I know you briefly just touched on it there, so I'll start this question with you, if that's all right, Craig. How was the youth services affected at Energy Youth Centre during the pandemic?
Well, I think I can speak for many youth services across the country, but it was affected a lot, just because of the guidelines and the views and the different ins and outs of things constantly being assessed and made safe as best as possible. That means that we had to adjust to all the different changes. Obviously, the face-to-face sessions, they didn't happen, unfortunately, so we moved online. We also did an extensive detached youth work project, which basically involves my lovely team of youth workers patrolling the streets of Eastleigh and going to the hotspots where young people hang out on the streets and just walking up to them and seeing if they're okay, asking if they're all right, if they need any help and support, see if there's anything that we can do to help. So that was very successful. But yeah, I think it's been tough for all youth services across the country at the moment. I mean, we are personally governed by the NYA, the National Youth Association, agency. So we kind of wait to get the green light from them in order to find out what we can do and how we can deliver best to the young people. So as long as we're following the guidelines from the NYA, we're trying to do as much as we can to reach as many young people as possible.
Definitely. And if I can just add as well, Craig, and I'm also part of your team as well, which I'm very, very proud about. And I have to say, during the pandemic, I'm really, so proud and privileged in a way to do all that detached work, with you, because I do believe that we made such a difference on the streets of Eastleigh. And, many people have been coming up to us afterwards and talking about it, haven't they, when we spoke off air about this. So, thank you for that.
It's been very successful. Yeah, it's been very successful. I think just because, even when everything was shut down and everything was kind of being told to stay at home, just the fact that we could go out and reach out to young people. I mean, we couldn't kind of encourage or engage young people on the streets. It was basically just a welfare checkup, but we still had access to just to check on young people, which I'm very thankful for. And I think it was a great service for the young people of Eastleigh, and we've got some great feedback from it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Kaylee, how was, I can imagine, a bit like Energy Youth Centre, you had to change quite a lot during the COVID pandemic, which hopefully, touch wood, we are, coming out of now. So how did that affect Solent Youth Action?
So we were affected in that, the initial kind of lockdown, everyone had to stay at home, myself included, and for number of months I ran the charity all on my Todd. So I sort of developed some projects and things that I could do virtually with young people, sent like lots of resources and these amazing kits called Happy Kits, which were created by a girl called Stacey Miller. And we sent those home, and I created some videos to sort of help young people manage their emotions whilst they were going through this pandemic, because I think we can all remember we were all like quite concerned, weren't we? You kind of feel like really anxious, and then, you know, really worried, and then, you know, just confused about what was going on. We were all going through this like real state of flux, and, you know, young people with autism, their routine was completely ruined, so there was a real impact on them. So we sent all this kind of like emotional well-being stuff to those young people, so we were able to continue to have that interaction with them. There was a lot of parental support. You know, our remit is working with young people, but I worked mostly with parents over the pandemic. We moved youth clubs online and holiday schemes online, which we're continuing to run some of them online, because the young people really like it. They like the games that we play, and they can access it really easily. But as soon as we could do face-to-face stuff, and because young people we work with are considered to be very vulnerable, we were able to work with young people quite early on. And the last lockdown that we had sort of over Christmas and the New Year, we ran face-to-face sessions that entire time, but just with significantly smaller numbers, and really just targeting the young people whose emotional well-being was most impacted by the pandemic, and their behaviour was impacted, and it worked as a good the respite for the families, because obviously their children at home were feeling overwhelmed and angry and frustrated, whereas they're coming to the youth clubs and seeing their friends, you know, only 4 other friends, but, you know, just having a change of scenery. I think we can all agree, like, a change of scenery has been quite nice in the last few weeks, like seeing a few other people. So yeah, we've continued to deliver services. We've been able to utilize, you know, the bubbles and all that sort of stuff. But we've just had to work with much smaller groups, and staff have had to obviously make sure that they're protected with PPE, lots of risk assessments, and we've been able to access the vaccination for all the staff as well, so they've all felt a little bit more protected during all of this.
That's good. And when I was researching our last radio show that all of us have done together today, Lockdown Edition Youth Support, when I was researching the show, and it was what we talked about, and since then you did Solent Food Action, Kaylee. I think you set that up, and I watched most of the videos, and have to say my favourite video was the pie making that you did. It looked really fun and really tasty. So can you tell us a bit more about Solent Food Action?
Yeah, so the project was basically set up in response to the it was like the school dinners, kind of all of that sort of drama that happened last year. And so we set up a project where me and my colleague Ross, who's our youth diversity officer, we spoke to the young people, asked them what their favourite dinners were, and then between us, we basically recorded ourselves cooking those dinners. And then we got young people and families to sign up for us to deliver the ingredients to cook that entire dinner for their entire family for free. The stipulation is that the families had to have either a child with a disability or would normally access free school meals. And that ran for 8 weeks. It was really successful. We've had so much positive feedback from it. That was part of the Connect for Communities grant. And it was very fun. I had to learn how to cook a few things because I'm actually quite terrible at cooking. I can make a mean burger, but wasn't very good at the pasta bake. But yeah, we kind of like went around and delivered everything, got so much positive feedback, and those videos kind of remain on all of our social media platforms and our websites. And they're designed to target young people, so it sort of shows you, you know, me trying to cut up onions, like be careful of your hands and wash your hands and all this sort of stuff. It's targeted at the young people rather than the family, rather than the parents. And then it kind of gave up those young people focus during that last lockdown, because they knew on a Friday the girl with curly hair was turning up and delivering their ingredients, and then I would get pictures every single week of all the concoctions that they'd created. It was probably one of my most favourite projects I've done in a very long time.
Absolutely. And what was the favourite food making video, Kaylee?
Well, okay, so everyone thought the burger was amazing because the burger ingredient, that whole the recipe is my husband's recipe, and it is the best burger. But I don't know, there wasn't really a firm. Actually, everyone liked doing the spaghetti bolognese. That's a classic. So I got most videos and pictures of people's spaghetti bolognese.
That's good. And after the show, I'll send you a picture of our pie making as well, Kaylee.
Oh, grand,
Thank you. Thank you for that. So, Craig, we spoke off air. This is so exciting about the upcoming music project with Ricky Tart. Please tell us more. So exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So, yes, we have just confirmed that we are going to be doing a big music project within the centre. It's our first big project back after all the lockdown shenanigans. Basically, yes, we have a musician called Ricky Tart coming in. He is an amazing music creator, producer, singer-songwriter, facilitator. He's got the whole shebang going on. He's really good. He's worked with young people before, and he's got lots of videos out of him performing his own music on YouTube if you want to go and have a look at those. But basically, yes, he will be in every Monday between 6 and 9, and he's inviting young people to come and work with him to create music. Now, if you want to play instruments, if you want to record music, if you want to write lyrics, if you want to rap, if you want to sing, it's open to anybody who just wants to explore with music. You don't have to be experienced in any way. Ricky is fantastic at showing you exactly how to do it and the best kind of tips involved with making music. Now, we've just kitted out, we've got a big old, well, it's quite small, but it's a music studio, fully air-conditioned, soundproof music studio with a control room. We have just kitted it out with top-of-the-range equipment, including music making programs, instruments. We have beat makers, we have launch pads, we have loop pedals, we have the whole shebang. And we're just inviting young people to come and play around with it. Absolutely free, exactly the same as everything else we do here. So every Monday between 6 and 9, open to 11 to 18-year-olds. Just come in every Monday. You don't need to sign up. You don't need to sign in. Just turn up, and we will offer you the services of Ricky Tart and all of our music equipment. He's in for a whole year, so every Monday for a whole year. So if you want to come in at any point on a Monday and just play around, help us create some kind of music. Hopefully by the end of it, I mean, we're going to work with the young people on this music project, but hopefully by the end of this music project, we'll either have some kind of album or songs we can release. Ideally, it'll be great if we can have some kind of live gig to show the music that's been created here. I mean, we've got a big old hall here that is set up for live music gigs and activities. So hopefully, if you even want to kind of come and perform some stuff, we have a stage. Literally, we have a stage for you to perform on. But I think to begin with, he should be coming in hopefully every Monday from about the 21st of June. So yeah, come along every Monday and come and play around with some music. And yeah, I'm sure it'll be jolly.
Sounds really, really exciting. When you're telling me about the project off air, I was like, oh, this sounds, well, I want to be part of it. It sounds absolutely fabulous. And I know we talked about...
it sounds really
Oh, sorry.
I'll fit on a Monday and come along. I want to play on the launch pads as well, Craig. That sounds great.
Oh, they're great fun. I've had a little play around, and it's just pressing buttons and you can create the most amazing music and then loop it and then rap over it and record it. It's amazing. It's really fun.
That's great. So is that new equipment, Craig, that you've got, or is that they're sort of already ready for this project?
Brand spanking new. We have just ordered it, so it's on its way now.
So exciting.
I won't tell you the exact amount that we spent on music equipment, but it's a pretty substantial kind of sum for good music equipment. Absolutely.
And also you've got two people to help you now, Craig. So Kaylee's on the launch pad and I can be your ukulele player.
There we go. We have our backing band just here.
Awesome. And I know we talked about how the COVID pandemic has affected, both organisations. But if we just stay with you, Craig, just the time being, is all services up and running now? Just to make that clear to the watchers of this show.
They are getting there. They are getting there slowly but surely. I think we're moving in conjunction with the government guidelines. So where there's steps to ease the restrictions, we are also following those steps to ease restrictions. Our centre is open for young people again. Currently, we are taking the necessary COVID precautions, face masks, social distancing and bubbling numbers. But as time goes on, I mean, as we're currently speaking, the next set of restrictions have just lifted as well. So we can allow more young people into our centre. And slowly but surely, we are becoming our normal services again. So centre is open, our doors are open, we are welcoming young people in, which we are very happy about and is long overdue.
Thank you very much, Craig. And Kaylee, are you completely reopened now, or are you? Is there more stages to go? Can you give us an update about your work, please?
Yeah, so all of our projects are up and running. The capacity that we can, like the young people that we can have on particular projects is a bit lower at the moment, just because we're just managing parents' anxiety over COVID as well. But all of our services are up and running in Eastleigh.
That's great. And can you share a case study, Kaylee, as well, with the amazing work that Student Youth Action provides?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to talk about someone that I've worked directly with for quite a long time, because during COVID, when we sort of had shut off completely, my concern was that we would lose contact with our very vulnerable young people who take quite a lot of hard work to engage with anyways, because they're kind of on the cusp of engagement. You know, they're kind of not attending school, or, you know, social services or the police are involved, so they're sort of quite aggressive and negative towards adults. And a particular young person that I work with, I kept regular contact with her throughout all of COVID. We were WhatsApp calling when we could meet another person face to face outside. We would sit outside and just chat on yoga mats. When McDonald's drive-through opened, I would turn up with the McDonald's for her to eat. That was a big deal because she hadn't had McDonald's for about 6 months. And yeah, I mean, this particular young person really struggled to kind of like won't go into school, was a real like refuser of school, and they've just completed all of their assessments now for their GCSEs, and awesome. They've got a college place, and I'm going on my maternity leave in about 2.5 weeks, and it's just like perfect timing because they've managed to get through their school career in one piece through a pandemic, got the grades that they need, and they're going to go to college, and it's like a really nice progression, so I can sort of step back and know that I don't have to worry about them so much when I'm off.
Okay, no, thank you for sharing that with us. And Craig?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about a particular young lady that came to us, but to be honest, it's a reasonably common story here at Energy Youth Centre, so I could be talking about a number of young people, but we did have one particular young lady come in, and when she first attended the sessions, the open door policy youth sessions here, she was very reserved and a little bit mistrusting of services. She didn't really talk to staff. She was involved in a little bit of antisocial behaviour around Eastleigh. She did get herself into a little bit of trouble around here. And as time went on and she came to sessions, we slowly saw her opening up, and just the fantastic work of our staff here just meant that they didn't give up trying to engage and supporting and guiding this young person. Eventually, this particular young person did see that we are trustworthy people and opened up to us and started to talk. And then when the dialogue was up and running, we were able then to properly narrow down to how we can better her circumstance, help her along, support her. And to cut a long story short, she worked with us, and she is now employed. She went on to work, which when she first came in was a little bit of an unheard and not possible kind of thing for her. But now she will come into the centre specifically to speak to our staff and say how well she's doing and how her job's doing, and just to see that progression from not really trusting adults, I suppose, all the way to coming in to telling our staff how she's getting on with her work is a fantastic journey. And to be honest, we've seen that progression with a few young people, and it's always really heartwarming and lovely to see.
Thank you so much, Craig. And if we just overview the time being just for this next question, I know that we did something similar for the radio, and the question did go down very well for both you and Sonic Youth Action. If you could have a magic wand and it would grant one wish for Energy Youth Centre with Groundwork South, what would it be?
Oh, well, that's a difficult question. And, it would probably take a little bit of a pondering to come up with the most fantastic answer. But I think off the top of my head, we are a youth centre, and youth centre do have a little bit of a stigma of being maybe a little bit old-fashioned, and something you did the young people did in the 90s. I would like to just kind of get the word out and just say, look, these aren't just things that belong in the history books. They're still current, they're still open, and they are open for you. I mean, there is a fantastic service here where young people could just come along as and when they want to engage with us and get support and guidance. I would just like to reach out and tell all the people that we are here, and that it's not scary, it's not intimidating. We will be as welcoming as possible. Just come in and say hello. I think I would just like to get more young people through the door. I would like to see and help more young people. So if I could wave a wand, it would be to tell every single young person of Eastleigh that we are here and we are there for you. That would be my wish.
Definitely, I can tell, and I know, you know, because I am also involved with Groundwork South. The youth centre is definitely not old-fashioned. I mean, you've got a massive music system there, Craig, haven't you? That goes really, really loud. You've got pool tables, ping pong. I know that I think we've all had matches, all three of us at some point, you know, in our breaks and after work. Chill out area, nice big sofas, big flat screen TV. It's really is a great venue, and you don't get much for free, and it's free for young people. So that's absolutely great.
Exactly. We're trying to offer the young people as much and everything that they want to. We've got PS5 coming as well, which will be a big draw, I'm sure. And the young people can play whichever music they want. I mean, it's open space. They can come in if they want. They can not be bothered by the staff. Just come and chill out. But obviously, we do have staff available if they do want help and support. But yeah, I would just get the news out there more. Definitely.
And Kaylee, what would your magic wish be?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that, yeah, Energy Youth Centre is a brilliant centre. We hire it for some of our projects. So it's just huge, and it's like so cavernous. So, and, you know, the young people do love it. You can just like run around. You've got so much space. So I just wanted to kind of jump in on that. And I guess if I had a magic wand, it would probably be quite similar in that, I mean, obviously the young people we work with are more targeted. And even though we've been within Eastleigh since 1999, so a fair few years, people still don't know that we exist. And we've been supporting young people with additional needs and mental health issues for such a long time. And even though we're sort of part of lots of network groups, there's still families out there that sort of struggle on their own. And if you are a family and you've got a child who has challenging behaviours and you're pulling your hair out over what to do with them, well, engaging them in social activity will help to alleviate some of those behaviours, because they're going to be doing something that they enjoy, they're going to be in a safe space, and they're going to be amongst their peers and supported by staff who validate them and respect them, which they might not feel that when they're at school, that, you know, they're respected by their peers or staff or anything like that, and their behaviour is considered to be naughty, whereas we sort of look beyond the behaviour. So my magic wand would be that more families are aware of the support that we can provide. We're not expensive, you know, our supported volunteer projects are all free because they're volunteers, and our youth clubs are all affordable, and we provide hardship rates as well, where everything's half the cost. So yeah, it's just to kind of make sure those families that are struggling along, like, realise that they don't need to, because we're here and we're available, and there's no waiting list.
Absolutely, and we are all stronger together, aren't we? You know, when we link up with working and referrals, so that's great. Next question for you, Kaylee, who can stay with you. There's Volunteers Week just around the corner, and I know that many organisations, if not all, I'm sure all organisations like to celebrate Volunteers Week in some way. Can we just touch base on your fabulous volunteers and what you'll be doing to celebrate the work with your volunteers, Kaylee?
Wow. As I said at the beginning, like, I started off as a volunteer for Solent Youth Action, so I've always been a real advocate for volunteers in general. I've been volunteering for various organisations since I was a teenager. So, and our organisation will not run without our volunteers. We've got paid staff members, but volunteers are just as important as the staff. They get the same training, they get the same support, and I probably am much nicer to my volunteers than I am to my staff. So yeah, Volunteers Week, we are running a volunteer session for all of our corporate volunteers at the Roots, our new site. And they're going to help us to sort of build a few things, and we're going to spend the week also acknowledging all of the good work that our volunteers do, including our trustees. And one of my trustees, Harriet Chapman, she will have been our trustee for 10 years on the 23rd of June. So wow. Really big. When you come to Solent Youth Action, you just can't leave. That's what happens. You've got to be here at least a decade, I think. But yeah, like 10 years is a long time to dedicate to a charity. So all of our trustees are volunteers. So we're just going to make sure that we celebrate that. And volunteering is so good for all organisations, and it's so good as an individual to get that experience, to get that confidence, and to have that interaction with your peers as well. So yeah, Volunteers Week's such an important week within our sector.
Thank you. And Craig?
Yeah, completely mirror exactly what Kaylee just said there. So yeah, every point she raised about volunteers being integral and important, I hold as well. I mean, we are open arms for all volunteers that want to come and help out with the youth service here and the youth centre. We are also taking on supported interns from Eastleigh College as well, to help out with the kind of more admin side of this things here. But yeah, for our sessions, we treat our, same as Kaylee, we treat our volunteers very much like paid members of staff. I mean, they get the same benefits, the same kind of community vibe within the centre, and they are more than welcome. If you do want to kind of do any number of hours volunteering, however small, however large, get in contact with me and we can sort something out. That's not a problem. And yeah, we'll do everything we can to make you feel welcome and feel like you're kind of really making a difference in the young people's lives at the youth centre. So yeah, get in contact.
Thank you. And back to you, Kaylee. What is the contact details for Solent Youth Action? Also your social media handles, and what is your final thoughts for today?
Oh, okay. Contact information. Okay, so everything is on our website. So the website is solentyouth.org.uk, and that's where basically it's up to date. It's got all of our projects, how you can contact us, where you can find us. If you want to send an email directly to the team, it's info@solentyouth.action.org.uk. Social media handles are @Solent Youth Action for Instagram and Facebook. I love Instagram. Basically everything that we post on our social media is from Instagram. So everything on Twitter is from Instagram, but we're @Solent Youth on Twitter. But if you're on Instagram, I just like pictures. I'm a very visual person, so pictures and videos is kind of where we're at. And what was the final thoughts? The youth sector is a great sector to work in. When I was younger, I wanted to be a youth worker. I remember seeing someone with a lanyard and it said that they were a youth worker, and I was like, that looks like the coolest job. And it's such a good job. It's really like humbling to work alongside young people, to be part of their journey as they transition through from being an adolescent into a well-rounded adult, and to be part of that and to be a positive role model within that child's life for however long, whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time. it's a really special thing, and it helps you to stay young, and it helps you to have perspective as well, because a lot of young people really struggle, and they're doing a really good job. And you know, as our roles is to support them to become the adults that they deserve to become. And yeah, I think kind of listening to Craig's case study, you know, just highlights that, you know, we both work for very different organisations, but you know, we all have the same common goal. So it's great organisations to work for. So if you want to work for either of us, let us know. Or if you want to volunteer for either of us, let us know, because there's never too many positive youth workers in Eastleigh. The end.
Thank you so much. And Craig?
Yeah, the best way to get in contact with Energy Youth Centre is, just to poke your head through the door, really. We are just opposite the Point Theatre in Eastleigh. It's a building that most people kind of overlook for some reason, but yeah, we are just opposite the Point Theatre. Big neon sign saying Energy Youth Centre, so come and poke your head in. But if you do want to kind of email or call me just to get some information, you can call the office. The office number here is 02380 642-943. So give us a telephone call, email me, craig.lockwood@groundwork.org.uk. We're also on social media. We've got a big Facebook page. It's at Eastleigh Youth, and you'll find Energy Youth Centre there. You can also message us through there as well. But yeah, come in, say hello, give us a call, give us an email, give us a message on Facebook, and we will reply for sure. I think my message for the young people is just that I completely understand that it's been a super tough year for everybody, but particularly young people, where they've had a whole year or so not being able to socialize how they want, not having indoor things open to them. Obviously they're too young to go to pubs and certain things. They don't just want to kind of hang out on the streets, especially over winter. It's been a super tough year for them, but just to let the young people know that there are services available to you to allow you not just help and support, which we can offer, but also just a place to come and hang out with your friends with no direction put on you. Just come, relax on a sofa, hang out, listen to music, have a chat, have a game of pool. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of services open that are very, very good at what they do and are all about kind of helping and supporting, including mine and Kaylee's organisation. But I also understand that you just want to hang out and just have a roof over your head, just to be amongst your friends, and we can offer that as well. So there are services. There's my stuff here. There's Kaylee's stuff where she is, where we will do what we can for you, I think is my message.
Thank you so much, Craig and Kaylee, for joining me today on Community Conversations. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.
Thank you, Naomi. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.